Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is a twisted tale. It's The Horned Woman. So we have already done a story with the same name, but it wasn't the twisted one. This one is. Once upon a time, on a summer's evening, as the sun was setting, an elderly lady was weaving. Her family, including her husband and grandchildren, were fast asleep in bed. She weaved into the night while the children slept. All of a sudden, on the last stroke of midnight, a knock came at her wooden door to the small cabin. The elderly lady continued to weave, but the door opened anyway, and in came 3 horned women. One young as a maiden, with a small horn upon her head. One as old as you would expect a mother, with a medium horn upon her head. The third was elderly, more elderly than the others, and more elderly than the weaving woman, actually. And she had 2 horns on her head, decent size too. Esmeralda, the elderly lady of the house, sensed a change in the atmosphere. The door closed behind the 3 women, and Esmeralda couldn't move nor speak as they turned to face her and looked at her very sternly. And they did say, "We have come for payment due. A deal was made by the spawn of you. While we collect, ye shall not speak a word, nor stop us so. To the well, woman, thou shalt go. Return in 1 hour. 'Tis what thou shalt do. When thou'st return here, as thou must, sit and eat the stew. When meal hath done eaten and empty bowls are seen, we shall leave, thou shalt not. A memory is all we have been. Out with thee, mortal, we do say, while we do collect our deserved pay." Esmeralda simply stood and went to the well. Once there in a daze, she stood for exactly 54 minutes. When then she started away back home, entering the door of the cabin exactly within the hour. Without saying a word, she sat at her table with the horned women, and indeed enjoyed a stew, even drinking up the juices. The minute the bowls, all 4, were empty, a loud cackle came from each of the women, whom then turned into 1 woman, but 3 faces. Esmeralda's eyes widened, for she knew Hecate, queen of witches, had just paid her a visit. In a cloud of smoke, the horned women were but 1, and then they were gone. Esmeralda finally snapped out of the trance. Only then did she understand what had happened. Her very own daughter has become wicked, wicked in pursuit of gold, riches, that she had made a deal with whomever would listen. Her children for riches. Hecate was simply collecting the deal price that was made. The problem was that the children were staying at their grandmother's, Esmeralda's. So when their granddad, Edmund, Esmeralda's husband, woke, he found blood, guts, both boy and girl. The grandchildren mutilated, and his wife sat covered in blood. Of course, her story sounded like nothing but crazy ramblings of a mad woman, a witch, so she was arrested. Then she was tried for the murders of her grandchildren. At the back of the hanging watched her very own daughter, in fine clothes, and servants with her, a wicked smile upon her face, as they hung her mother until strangled and dead. Not a care in the world did the daughter have. What did remain of the children did get buried, but the mother paid, well, a petty fee, let's say, for the lowest burial. Though she was rich, the grandfather was grief-stricken. He barely lasted the year after the event, but he literally worked himself to death because the poor grandchildren's hearts, liver, kidneys and lung, well, they were never found. While the grandfather was alive, he searched daily for them. He destroyed the bloodstained cabin. He dug everywhere, but he never found them. And 11 months and 2 weeks after the terrible ordeal, he died of an heart attack. Most say probably a broken heart from grief. The children's graves sit still, unvisited and unloved, because only their grandfather visited them. Once he was gone, no one did. It is said some nights you can see the old man frantically searching for the grandchildren's missing parts. The question is, was the grandmother crazy, or did the daughter indeed make the worst deal of them all? That's for you to decide. Crazy or true? The end. And that's the original twisted tale of the horned woman. She is one but three faces, so that's why she comes in the three. Thank you for listening. Please hit that like, share if you can, and do consider subscribing. Many blessings.